It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
There we go. Almost. Now we can say good morning. How's it going, Mary?
It's good morning. Yeah, it's this morning I had another one of those days where I had to actually ask what day it was. I was walking with my friend, as we do each and every morning, and I'm like, okay, is today Tuesday or are we on Wednesday? I really, do you ever have to just like
all the time?
I mean, I have to just think about what day it is sometimes.
I'm really happy that, I mean, it's a little hard to read with the layout with the cameras and such, but I do have a little thing that says Wednesday, September 17th in front of me.
Oh, well, that's good because, and often, I mean, I have a hard enough time knowing what day of the week it is, but actually knowing the date, unless I looked at my phone, you know,
it can be hard sometimes.
I know. I don't know why it's so hard. Maybe it's because we don't write it on checks anymore. We don't.
No.
I don't know. Everything is so in our hand and digital that I don't know. At least for me, I have to really think hard about what the date is too. And usually I end up, clicking on my phone and seeing what the actual date is. You have a few, know you've got a wedding on the 13th or the 14th or whatever, and so you have that date in your head. But if it's just a general old Wednesday, what is the date?
Well, I've got so many different interviews and such. I've got a calendar on the computer that has everything laid out, and so I see the dates for that.
So you're always on with relation to the calendar. That's good. That's very good.
Well, I'm not always on. I mean, I don't know how many times I said the wrong day when I said good morning. So.
Yeah, well, true. All right. Well, a little bit later in the show, we're going to be talking about a couple of things that I think we could probably, and maybe these are at least one of them. Derek could be brought in, and it's about texting and phone conversations and which one is more meaningful. And I'm guessing that's a little bit different by age. So anyway, we'll talk about that later in the show. So if anybody wants to weigh in with your comments, you certainly can do that. And we're going to tell you what sparks the most arguments in a household. And I don't think you'll guess what it is, but it's how you load the dishwasher.
How you load the dishwasher, not whether it gets loaded?
Yes, how it's loaded. And I'm one of those sticklers. And I'm very grateful. We have grandkids at our house a lot. As they're, going between school and practice or whatever, because they live out of town, and so instead of driving all the way home, they come to our house. And they're really, really good about if they eat something, they always clean up and they always put stuff in the dishwasher. And I never would ever say anything, but it's really funny. People in their own house do it a certain way. And so, of course, they bring what they do at home to my house. But little things like the plates are backwards. Should that matter? They're going to get cleaned no matter.
They might not get cleaned if they're backwards.
I don't think it matters. I mean, which way they're facing, I don't think that matters.
Well, the dishwasher is designed to have them face a certain direction.
Is it, though? Oh, okay.
At least ours is.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so I'm anal enough that I turn them around. Isn't that dumb?
No, because otherwise it might not get clean.
Well, anyway, I didn't know that. I thought I was just being ridiculous. But anyway, so we're going to talk about loading the dishwasher and how you do it at your house. And again, if you'd like to text some things to us and tell us, about loading the dishwasher and if that causes any troubles at your house. But I think it's kind of funny when we come down to those sort of frivolous things that really get under our skin.
Yeah.
And I can't say it really gets under my skin, but I do correct it. And the other thing is toilet paper over the top or underneath.
Yes.
That is another big, big deal, I think.
Beards are good, mullets are bad.
Oh, boy, we've got some heavy topics, don't we, coming up? Anyway, of course, you are always free to text us and tell us what you've been thinking on these very, very important topics. I think they're funny because they're so common from family to family.
Yeah.
I always know who has been at my house based on the toilet paper being changed. Hey, and I'm just glad they put a new roll on. I think that's great, and I think that's a win. And if I have to turn it over, well, then I turn it over. But it's, you know, at least somebody's replacing the roll. That's really all I care about. But it's funny, those kinds of things in a household can really get you know? And so be thinking, you might have some things like that at your house that we can talk about later.
Oh, yeah.
Later today. All right. Well, in news, we'll hit a few stories before the bottom of the hour. Tyler Robinson has been now formally charged with aggravated murder in Utah for the killing of Charlie Kirk. Now, this is a state charge. They are trying to determine whether or not this fits a federal charge, and that is yet to come. I think it may happen, but because I think there's some, if you cross state lines with, you know, your communication and that sort of thing. So I think they're still looking into that. But anyway, he was seen, I don't know if you've seen any of the video or the photos, when he was formally charged, he was seen in what they call, what is it? A restraint vest. And what that means is it keeps him from harming himself. And that's what they're really watching for, because he had made comments, I think in texts, and I believe also to his dad, that he just, you know, he just wanted this to be over, and he talked about taking his own life. So anyway, so they're watching him pretty closely in jail. Anyway, he also faces charges of obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and felony firearm discharge. Prosecutors filed notice that they may seek the death penalty. Investigators say Robinson confessed to his parents before surrendering, telling them Kirk spreads too much hate.
And of course, shooting him doesn't spread any hate at all.
Right, exactly. And I think based on what I've heard in the news and read and heard here on this station, this guy has a mountain of evidence against him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I mentioned yesterday when Miles joined us that this guy doesn't sound like he sounds like he's a little off the rails. And while his ideology may be, I believe his mental state is very clear.
Yeah.
Based on his texts, and
He knew what he's doing.
he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew, I mean, it was so well plotted out. He knew how it was going to, you know, how he was going to get away. He knew, I mean, I think he absolutely thought he'd get away with this. In fact, I don't know if it was a text or something he said aloud, but he said something like, and I'm paraphrasing, I thought I would take this secret with me to my deathbed. So he thought that he would get away with this and nobody would ever know. And, you know, boy, he wasn't a very good criminal, that's for sure.
No.
He didn't want to get caught. Anyway, so much evidence against him. But again, we know what the court system can look like sometimes, and how some of those things get thrown out or not able to be admitted into a court proceeding. So you really never know how that's going to go. A Los Angeles judge has rejected Eric and Lyle Menendez's latest attempt to overturn their murder convictions. On Monday, LA Superior Court Judge William Ryan denied their habeas corpus petition, ruling the brothers failed to present evidence strong enough to warrant a new trial. Their clemency request to Governor Gavin Newsom remains unresolved, so they are still at the state in prison now 30 plus years. Former President, this says former President Trump. I think he's still president as far as I'm aware.
Last
Anyway,
time I checked.
But as a former president, I guess, he filed that $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times, accusing the paper of defamation and libel. Trump claimed the Times spread false statements about him, his family, and his businesses, and he accused the outlet of political bias. On Truth Social, he called the newspaper a virtual mouthpiece for the radical left Democratic Party. So, $15 billion lawsuit. I don't know how he kept track of all the lawsuits he is leveled and all those that have been leveled against him. It's quite a list.
Well, he's probably got a pretty good lawyer squad.
Yeah.
Legal team.
Yeah, boy, for sure. Okay, so speaking of President Trump, he arrived in the UK for a state dinner, his second now, and I think he is the only president, I believe, to have been invited under two different monarchs. Of course, Queen Elizabeth was there for, 75 years or something? I mean, forever. And so just the fact that one president has been there twice was something, and then with two different monarchs besides. And I don't know if you caught any of that, but I actually watched some of that live this morning, and it was really kind of interesting. They had a carriage procession, which took them down all these beautiful tree-lined streets, and they were on their way to, got to think about which castle they were going to. I guess it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's where they were going to have all of this pomp and circumstance. But here he is, I mean, in a carriage, and then his wife and the Queen in a carriage behind them. And evidently, I suppose there's a lot of security. You didn't see it. But once they got into the walls of the castle, then, you know, I think they feel like it's pretty secure. But just all the pomp and circumstance and respect for each other's countries was really, really kind of nice to see. Now, there were a lot of people on the streets in London and cities outside of London who are getting ready to protest. It's probably going on as we speak. And they were hoping for tens of thousands of people. And they even shown a photo, somehow were able to, just like you would put it on the big screen.
Yep.
They were able to put it up on one of the walls of the castle, and it was a picture of President Trump with Jeffrey Epstein and some women, and so not everybody in the UK, not everyone in London, happy to see President Trump there. So anyway, but what I did see was really pretty interesting, in all the pomp and circumstance, and just a lot of respect, at least between the two leaders and their families. So I thought that was nice. Let's see what else we have for you. Here's a gutsy robber. An unidentified man wearing scuba gear robbed the Paddlefish restaurant at Disney Springs early on Monday morning, stealing up to $20,000 in cash before escaping under the water.
Oh, wow. Well, at least it explains the whole scuba outfit.
Exactly. Orange County Sheriff's Office deputies responded around 12:10 a.m. after the suspect entered the closed restaurant's management office and tied up two employees that were still on site. The man did not use any weapons during the robbery. After taking the money, he reportedly put on scuba equipment and fled by swimming away through the water. A police search proved unsuccessful in locating the suspect, whose face was completely covered in surveillance images. When they arrived, deputies met with the victims, who said an unknown man entered the business after hours, took some cash, and left. The victims in this case were not injured, and there is no threat to public safety. But
Gotta lock those doors.
well, he's a little more cunning than most.
Than the usual, yeah.
Yeah, it seems. So, and I don't know if you saw this yesterday. I only saw snippets of it, and that was enough for me. And that was the video that Governor Walz posted, saying that he was running again. In the video, if you've seen it, he is trying to portray, I'm a good old Minnesota, come on, hunting dog, get in my Jeep. And I love Minnesota. I've done so many good things in Minnesota. Minnesota, wherever you go, It's beautiful. The people are beautiful. Well, you know, not all the rocks and cows folks think that's so
Yep.
great. And anyway, he posted it, I think, first on X, if I'm not wrong about that. And I'm sure you can see it anywhere by now. But, boy, the comments were something else. And on X, he's not very popular.
No.
So we're going to see how that goes. But he has thrown his hat into the ring.
I was going to mention that yesterday, but you and Miles were talking, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Because, it came across at about 9:30.
Right. And we knew he was going to run.
Oh, yeah,
again.
everybody knew he was running.
And I don't know how you feel about this, and this is my personal opinion, so this has nothing to do with anybody here at the radio station. It's just me. But I just think, boy, it's time for a new leader in the state of Minnesota. Yeah, it's time. And I don't know. I kept saying we need Charlie Kirk to come to University of Minnesota and talk to those kids. And he was scheduled for the 22nd of September.
Yep.
So sad. All right. Coming up on the bottom of the hour, we'll take a break for some markets. We're back. Don't forget, boy, does the dishwasher spark debate at your house? We'll talk about it when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox. Right away, hear how Governor Walz's re-election announcement is going so far. The latest on Charlie Kirk's accused killer. Then at 4:06, hear what beer Ray has picked out at the Boulder Tap House. Then hear fellow Ox listeners' Why Nots on Why Not Wednesday. Then hear all about Angel Rains with founder Kathleen Zachman. Finally, after all these years, wrapping up Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the Ox say?
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure, sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guide to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
Our Lady of Victory's Fall Festival is back, September 21st. Fun for the whole family with turkey dinner served 11 to 1, plus a chance to win $5,000 cash and lots of other prizes. Mark your calendar and don't miss OLV's Fall Festival.
Previously on the Under the Hood Show. When I was a kid, I had a chance to get a chemistry set.
I got
only
the
I'd have
chemistry
known.
set, and I started experimenting with the baking soda and the vinegar thing, and how cool that was. And, of course, I had to overdo it like I do everything. And I got it on a little bigger level, and I got in a lot of trouble, and we had to buy new carpet for the living room. It was not good.
You should listen to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics right here, KBRF, 1250 a.m., every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF.
Hey, Twins fans, it's Chris Atterbury. A spirited comeback effort last night. Twins nearly erase a 10-1 deficit. They fall by the final of 10-9, and they're hoping to win a series today against the Bronx Bombers. Taj Bradley has the ball. We're on the air at 6 o'clock. Join Danny and I for first pitch at 6:40. It's all right here on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
School and daycare are back in session. Fergus Falls Deals has your back. Time to save money on almost everything you buy. Plus, it's awesome to know that you are helping these local businesses grow. Thinking of making some updates to your home? Save up to 40%. It's almost the time for some giving. Why not save big and get some shopping done early? Restaurant certificates, boutiques, and more? We got them. The list goes on and on. If you like saving money, check out all the sweet deals at FergusFallsDeals.com.
At FergusFallsDeals.com.
KBRFradio.com is your online home for News Talk 1250 KBRF. You'll find the latest in local and national news, plus sports, and you can podcast or stream live. That's at KBRFradio.com.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. I'm Jamie Dickerman with a market update here on the Red River Farm Network. Grain markets trading mixed to start the day. Bauer Trading's Ben Cash says the trade continues to be choppy ever since last Friday's WASDE report.
Going forward, we're going to continue to monitor these yields off the combine. It was definitely a dry finish to the growing season for a lot of areas, particularly really centralized in the eastern belt, but did turn some potential there also in the western belt as well. And I think that's what's been supportive. The market's still a little bit skeptical of some of these high production numbers, and that's what's kind of bringing that support back into the grain markets. And as we head into the heart of harvest here, now over on the wheat side of things, kind of been a little choppy. We did see a pretty good start to the week here for the most part on price action. We factored in a lot of the bearish news. These crop reports just haven't been all that friendly for wheat. Demand tone's been kind of quiet, but we're going into winter wheat seedings here, so we do need to bid up a little bit to buy some acres.
Cattle markets looking ahead now to Friday's cattle on feed report.
We are seeing a little bit of a pullback here on the day session today, down about $2.35 on the fats. Feeders down about $4. There's some concern about the demand out ahead of us. Beef prices are extremely high compared to some of these other alternatives on pork, and I think that's starting to hit the market a little bit. Box beef prices were down pretty good yesterday, so that's spilling over into the futures today.
Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is up 258 points at 46,016. Crude oil is down a penny right now at $64.50 a barrel. Reporting agriculture's business, you're listening to the Red River Farm Network. This is the Soil Fertility Minute, brought to you by the Agriculture, Fertilizer Research and Education Council. Our guest is University of Minnesota Extension Northwest Research and Outreach Center Specialist, Dr. Lindsay Pease.
So if you apply all of your phosphorus, before the corn year or a wheat year, and that lets you skip the application during the soybean year. And what we've seen is there's really no disadvantage to applying a 2-year rate. So if you're in a place where fertilizer prices are a little bit higher and you've maybe applied 2 years of a rate before corn or soybeans, that lets you skip a year. I think this has been a good option, especially for farmers who are wanting to reduce tillage in their operations, because this allows you to skip tillage in between, corn or wheat and soybeans altogether. The soybeans can tolerate a little bit of wheat stubble or corn stalks a lot better than some other crops.
AFREC is a farmer-led program advancing soil fertility research. Find out more at mnsoilfertility.com.
With that morning cup of coffee and the Red River Farm Network on the radio, you're ready to take on the day. Farming and ranching is a bottom-line business, and we treat it that way at the Red River Farm Network. Our team of dedicated ag journalists include Don Wick, Tyler Donaldson, and Jamie Dickerman, plus ag meteorologist Drew Lerner. Farm news, markets, and weather from the #1 rated farm radio team in the region. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business. Farmers and ranchers depend on farm radio. In fact, the average farm has 11 radios. Over half of our farm listeners have 20 or more radios on the farm. The Red River Farm Network is your go-to source for farm news, markets, and weather. Dedicated, determined, dependable. Don Wick, Jamie Dickerman, Tyler Donaldson, Drew Lerner on the Red River Farm Network. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
Minneapolis wheat December, we are down 2.5, 574. December Chicago is down 1.5 at 532.5, and December KC down 2.25 at 521.25. East corn is unchanged at 429.5. November soybeans down 1/4 at 1049.5. Canola this morning is down 250, 638.30 Canadian. October live cattle down 277, 230.67. The September feeders down 397 at 354.20. And October lean hogs unchanged 97.37. This is the Red River Farm Network.
If you're building a new house or shop this summer, Easy Open Garage Door in Fergus Falls is here to help you pick the right garage door for your new build. Call today for a free estimate. Commercial or residential, make it easy with Easy Open Garage Doors. Call 218-770-DOOR.
What's the ox say?
Today on Hot Talk with the Ox. Right away, hear how Governor Walz's re-election announcement is going so far. The latest on Charlie Kirk's accused killer. Then at 4:06, hear what beer Ray has picked out at the Boulder Tap House. Then hear fellow Ox listeners' Why Nots on Why Not Wednesday. Then hear all about Angel Reigns with founder Catherine Zachman. Finally, after all these years, wrapping up Hot Talk with the Ox today from 2 to 5 on KBRF.
What's the ox say?
Our Lady of Victory's Fall Festival is back September 21st. Fun for the whole family with turkey dinner served 11 to 1. Plus a chance to win $5,000 cash and lots of other prizes. Mark your calendar and don't miss OLV's Fall Festival.
This is Craig Olson. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 for the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Football, basketball, soccer, hockey, volleyball, swimming, cross country. I interview area coaches to discuss the season, recap the last game, and preview upcoming games. Catch the live show at 8 on Saturday morning on News Talk 1250 KBRF and the live stream and archived shows at KBRFradio.com. Just click on Sports Streaming. The Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
School and daycare are back in session. Fergus Falls Deals has your back. Time to save money on almost everything you buy. Plus, it's awesome to know that you are helping these local businesses grow. Thinking of making some updates to your home? Save up to 40%. It's almost the time for some giving. Why not save big and get some shopping done early? Restaurant certificates, boutiques, and more? We got them. The list goes on and on. If you like saving money, check out all the sweet deals at FergusFallsDeals.com.
At FergusFallsDeals.com. News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. Going through today, a little bit of showers and thunderstorms possible. We'll see that basically kind of rinse and repeat all throughout the rest of the week. A chance of rain, a chance of showers, a chance of thunderstorms. But we're going to watch the temps quickly drop, though. 78 today's high, 73 tomorrow, 70 Friday, 72 on a Saturday, 76 on a Sunday. Right now, 68. Winds out of the northeast at 18. Just a quick reminder, we do have the Weather Spotter meeting presented by Otter Tail Power Company and Lakes Country Roofing happening tomorrow, 6 o'clock at the Bigwood Event Center. And Morning Talk brought to you this morning and every morning by our friends at Pioneer Care and by Fergus Monument. There we go.
All right. Well, I even did a little lookup on the whole dishwasher thing, and we're going to get to that in just a bit. So very, very important crushing news here on dishwashers and how it can cause some flack in your home. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. But first of all, I read this headline, and you and I both understand this pretty well, and it says this: adult children become caregivers to their parents by age 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I was already, at least a potential helper by then. Because by that time, my dad would have been probably in his 80s. And that's kind of when he started needing, a little bit of extra help and stuff. But 48 is pretty young, but that's how it happens. And of course, it's a little different in every family based on age. But anyway, this research said that adults age 50 and above say that they started really caring for parents at age 48. And they say that about half of those people that they talked to said that they actually swapped places with their parents at the age of 50. So they became the caregivers, and it's just like they took care of us for 50 years. Now we're going to take care of them. And that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
The progression of life.
Yep.
And sometimes And, you and I both, and hopefully everybody would do anything to take care of their parents. You know?
Yeah.
And there are some frustrating times. There's some concerning times. There's a lot more happy times than the other two, though. And now as I look back, having both my parents gone, I remember days where I was quite frustrated. I remember days when it was a lot of work. I remember days when it was just a real sweet journey, and I'm grateful for all that time. So I see, but things like, maybe mom and dad need a little more help with, documents, taxes, where their money should go, and insurance, and, those kinds of things. Questions that, I even find that at my age, I'm starting to kind of rely and ask questions of younger other people saying, well, what do I do about this? And I would just some of those things you'd just rather have somebody else take care of if they could.
Hey, Mary, can I get you to turn up your mic just a hair?
Okay. Let me see. Okay, how's that?
That's better.
All right. It's kind of topped out in here, so I didn't.
Is it?
Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
Anyway, okay, so hopefully that helps. And thanks to Kevin, he says it's his job to monitor us. And if my audio is low, he always lets us know. So hopefully that's better. And if that was my bad, sorry about that. But this is a lot higher than I typically have it. So I don't know what's up.
For some reason, I've got you maxed out in here too. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, hopefully, Kevin, thanks for the tip. And hopefully he's able to hear us a little bit better, or at least me. I think it was me that was low. How about this one? We just saw this story about the alleged shooter in the Charlie Kirk killing, and the parents, actually, the dad ended up turning this kid in.
Yep.
How difficult would that be, and could you do it? You and I talked about that, and both of us
could do it.
Yep, both of us said that, hopefully never ever have to make any decisions like that. But I think I would too. Anyway, here's another one of those cases. Not thankfully nothing as heinous as murder, but two moms turned in their sons after the boys caused $50,000 in damage to a Florida elementary school. I think, well, for sure you got to turn those guys in. Wait till you hear this. These kids are 12 and 13.
Oh.
They broke into Friendship Elementary School in their city, and this was on a Saturday during daylight hours, then returned that night for additional destruction. This is according to the county sheriff's office. The vandalism targeted the school's media center with video showing shattered glass doors, overturned furniture, torn books, and graffiti throughout the facility. Both juveniles confessed to the crimes and faced charges including burglary, trespassing, criminal mischief, and then the sheriff's office reported all of this on Facebook. But the two moms, were the ones who found out that their kids did this, and they turned them in.
Yeah, because if you just let that behavior go, it's just going to grow.
Isn't that scary to think that you have a 12 and a 13-year-old? So we're talking about 7th, 8th grade.
Yep.
And those kids deciding, and for what?
They thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably a TikTok challenge out there.
Yeah, that's very possible. Very possible. And there's one, do you know what the sport skimming is? I don't know what, comes from Scotland. But anyway, it just goes to show you that cheating is all over the place. Several competitors were disqualified from Scotland's World Stone Skimming. So is that truly what it sounds like?
I think like rock throwing or rock skipping.
Yeah, is that what it sounds like to you?
Yeah.
Anyway, they do, evidently it's a sport. They have championships, and they used artificially modified stones. Cheaters. Anyway, the annual competition requires participants to use naturally occurring slate from the location, but the officials discovered some contestants wielded machine-shaped and smoothed rocks with artificial notches designed to improve the throwing. Oh my goodness. You got to cheat on throwing rocks. Well, first of all, a competition for rock throwing.
Well, I mean, it's just
stone skimming. That's what they call it.
I'm going to double check that that's what that is, but that sounds about right.
Well, don't you think? I mean, yeah, stone skimming in, where did I say it was? Let's see. Stone skimming in Scotland. Yeah, evidently there are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Skipping rocks, yeah.
Skipping rocks. Skimming. How about skipping? Then we would have understood.
More than 2,200 people from 27 countries attended this year's event at the tiny island.
Okay, well, anyway, there's actually a guy who's called the Toss Master. And he's the guy who kind of runs the tournament. He received calls from worried competitors and contacted the rule breakers who confessed their violations. Anyway, to give them their credit, they deeply apologized for bringing the sport kind of down. Anyway, organizers are considering requiring future participants to select from official stone collections rather than finding their own. Kentucky's Jonathan Jennings became the first American winner in the adult male category, while Lucy Woods claimed her 6th adult female title in stone skimming.
In stone skimming, and they've got.
But she got to go to Scotland. Maybe that's the whole premise of the deal. I don't know.
Oh, I'm seeing photos of the event and photos of the scandalous skimming rocks. And
Okay, so Kevin just sent me a text. He said, well, stone skimming is still better than the pillow fight championship. So evidently there's that, too.
The event was first organized in 1983. The winner this year, the American, 177 meters.
So what does that mean? So they don't calculate the number of skips, or just how far they skim?
How far?
Okay, so maybe it's not the skipping. Anyway.
I don't know, but they threw it 581 feet.
Wow, how is that even possible?
Well, apparently they're good.
I guess.
That's why they're cheating.
The stone skimming championships. There you have it.
But yeah, it has to skip at least twice.
Okay, and then just zing across the water.
I guess, yeah, because wow, 500.
How do you measure something like that?
That's almost twice the distance of like a football field. That's almost like 2 football fields.
That's a good skipper.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there you have it. I guess that's why they're the champions and cheaters. All right, so let's get to this whole dishwasher debacle. I actually looked it up, and my question was, does it matter how you load your dishwasher to get the dishes clean?
I say yes.
Okay, and that is the answer. This is the AI overview, okay? So some of this is ridiculous and like kind of duh, really. Yes, it matters how you load your dishwasher because improper loading can result in dirty, even damaged or broken dishes, okay?
Yep.
So my question is, plates, how to do the plates, doesn't matter how they face, it seems.
Okay, see, that to me, that's there's a little groove there, so you got to put the bottom of the plate there, and they're designed to go a certain way, people.
Okay, so for me, the part that you eat off is facing to the left.
Well, I mean,
toward the center.
Everyone's got a different dishwasher, so.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And I don't know, this doesn't suggest that which direction they face makes any difference. They do say, though, that place dinner and lunch plates, well, between the tines, no kidding. They do say that the angle matters.
That's...
ensure the dirty surfaces face the center of the dishwasher to maximize water flow and pressure. Okay, so either way you put a plate in there, facing left or right, it's still facing the center. So I think they're gonna get clean.
Yeah, see, mine switches halfway. The right side faces left, and the left side faces right, so they both face the center.
Oh, yeah.
Ours switch
yeah.
halfway through.
Yes, same. Okay. Well, anyway, pots and pans, they say position large pots, pans, and casserole dishes along the sides or the back of the bottom rack. Now, I put them smack dab in the middle of the bottom if I'm
I
putting a
just put them
pan.
wherever I can fit them.
Me too. And this is stupid. Avoid nesting, which is stacking.
Well, duh.
Well,
that's not going to get clean.
you think? Okay. All right. On the top rack, face down, place the cups, glasses, small bowls upside down at an angle to allow water to drain off. Okay. I'm good there. Protect delicate items. Top rack offers gentler spray, making it ideal for items prone to cracking or chipping. And if you've got some real gentle items, you just don't put them in the dishwasher.
Just hand wash them.
Yeah. Let's see. Plastics, takeout containers. They say that is on the top. Don't overload. That is the biggest. They say that's one of the biggest no-nos. The detergent door, ensure the detergent dispenser can open all the way. Sometimes that gets kind of gummy, especially if you use liquid. I use those little pod things.
That's what we use.
So that doesn't happen. But if you use the liquid, it can get a little gummed up, and sometimes that door doesn't want to open. Let's see, utensils, load silverware in the utensil basket. Mixing forks and spoons with handles alternating up and down. That was another question.
Oh.
Do you put like the fork, the part you eat off, does that go down in?
I used to always do it down, but Jen is a stickler for up.
I do it the up.
Yep.
The only problem with having this, isn't this ridiculous banter? Anyway, the only problem with I think they get cleaner if the part you eat off is up.
That was Jen's argument.
However, when you then dump it out, when you unload the dishwasher, you don't want to grab the part that people are eating off of. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess you just have to.
Well, we wash our hands before we handle the
I don't know.
dishes.
I don't know that. Anyway.
Well, Derek, what do you do?
Good morning. I just have to say, the whole forks and spoons thing has always confused me because I've been yelled at. No matter what way I do it, I've always been yelled at. So the idea of like alternating it, I mean, it makes sense, but
you're yelled at by both.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah. At least
Exactly.
somebody will praise you, and you only get chewed out half as often. Maybe
Well, I
that's
think
the way
both
to
of
look
them
at
will
it.
chew you out because
Yeah,
you get half
that's
of them
true.
wrong.
That's true. And the other thing that mystifies me, and you guys tell me if you have this, like plastic containers that, you probably had something else in it. I just buy cheap ones at, like the dollar store, and then if they get stained or whatever, I just toss them. But isn't it funny how they never dry in the dishwasher? What is with that? Everything else is bone dry, but those plastic things never, ever dry. Why is that?
I think it's because they don't handle the heat as well. The plates and the glasses will heat up, and so you get a little bit of evaporation there.
Okay.
And the
that sort of makes sense.
plastic dissipates.
Well, anyway, makes me crazy.
get your science out of here, Dave. We don't want to hear that.
I know he's always wielding his smarts in front of me. So,
but
just let us be mad that we have to dry them separately.
I do hate that, though, don't you?
It's so annoying, especially the
totally.
really cheap ones that have like the little curves on the ends.
Terrible.
And so, like you put it upside down, like a smaller one up on the top, and then it just fills with water. And it's just like, go away. I don't want to try and like shove the dish towel like in this little
I'm
crevice.
with you. I totally know what you're talking about.
Just throw it in the cupboard. I mean, it'll dry eventually.
And eventually is the right word there because it takes 100 years for that stuff to get dry.
Now, let's get on the important topic, though.
And that is?
Toilet paper.
Okay. Toilet paper. Okay, so you guys, over the top or from underneath?
Over the top.
Over the top.
It took me, when Jen and I got together, it took me probably a year to get everybody on board.
Really?
Yeah, because
they were all under ones.
No, it wasn't just under ones. They didn't care. So it was like, oh, it's on there. There we go. It's like, no.
Okay.
Like this.
Okay, Derek, how about you?
Same boat. I am a full believer of over, and the amount of people who just don't care will just throw it in any which way. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, well, I'm just grateful that everybody that uses the toilet at my house, if they get to the end of a roll, they always put a new one on. So I'm grateful for that. And I think you do it how you learn to do it at your house. Everybody kind of does it the same. And I don't know why it makes any difference, but here's what happens. I don't know about you guys, but going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I never turn any lights on.
No.
And if I reach for toilet paper and it's not coming off the top, man, am I lost.
Well, see, I also have in the middle of the night, I'm not going to throw my glasses on.
Right.
And so, plus, I always have allergies and stuff. So, like when I get out of the shower and stuff, I need to blow my nose. And so, I don't want to be sitting there for 5 minutes trying to figure out what's going on with the toilet paper. I just want to be able to whack the top, have it come down, grab it.
Yes.
blow my
Especially
nose.
if it's a fresh roll, it really likes to stick. So sometimes you could spin it multiple times, and you're like, "Where's the end of
fresh
this
rolls
thing?"
are frustrating too, aren't they? Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're talking about this. One more thing before we go, while we've got you, Derek. Texting or phone conversations?
Yeah, my preference is generally texting if I can.
Me too.
But if I have a certain point I need to get across, or if it's like really important, I will call.
Yeah, I love a good phone conversation with somebody I don't see real often, and I get to visit and catch up. Other than that, not so much about being on the phone.
My phone conversations are always, for the most part, fairly short, so I'm okay with the phone conversation. It depends on what the conversation is.
Yeah. Or it's so much easier sometimes than texting some big long thing just to call and get it done.
Especially if they don't understand it. Like just for example, Luna got stung by a wasp like a week or so ago.
Ooh.
And she woke up shortly after we put her down, and she was just screaming. She's just having a time, and my wife gets anxious, so she had me calling the nurse line. If you were to do one of those chat things and to try and explain every little detail,
until,
it gets, you're into the next day. To do something like that.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
So
And
things like
often, and yeah. So, well, anyway, I'm with you. I think a lot of us are texters these days and not phone talkers. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's kind of how it is. All right. Well, I hear the music, and that is my hook. So that's going to wrap it up today. Thank you for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Monument Company. Have a great day.